Hey, today we're going to be talking with Shanicia and Katharina about what do you do when you have someone who wants to build a business with you, but they feel like they're overwhelmed by the process. They're overwhelmed with the work and they're getting discouraged, and they think that it's taking or that it costs too much time, or it takes too much time and it's too much effort, and it's kind of exhausting when they think about it. Is that basically what you want to know about, Shanicia?
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, the emphasis is just on the fact that like there's a lot, maybe like the steps in it. Um, there's a lot there, and also I don't know if you mentioned this, but also like too expensive. Like what do you do when they're just like, oh, this is too expensive?
Yeah, yeah, which are very very similar objections, really. One's like it's dealing with the three currencies ATM. You have the currency of attention, time, and money. So too expensive is like it costs too much money, and like wow, this is a lot of work. That's cost too much time. Really, what is being talked about, and then their attention. They have priorities and focus and dreams and different stuff that they're working on, responsibilities. So like now it costs too much attention because people have to pay attention, right? So that's still
Mm-hmm.
a currency that people pay for in building their business with you. So like the reason why someone feels like it's a lot of work is because like when you're coaching them, you can focus on two aspects. You have the process and you have their payoff. So the process is like the steps they got to take to get the result. The it's the steps, it's the system, it's the framework, it's the work, it's what they actually got to change and do differently, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that when we focus heavily on the process, it feels like the process is painful, like period, like it's generally like you gotta do, nothing changes if nothing changes, right? And if it doesn't challenge you, it'll never change you. So if we want to get the gap between where we are and where we want to be, it's going to require a challenge. So that's like the process, the path. But then the payoff is their goal, their why. Like, what are the financial goals, the financial desires uh, that your business builder this that they have? Like, what are they looking for? Um, and then it's their why. It's like Simon Sinek has a TED talk. Start with the why, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and then you ask the question about how um, is it you started with the why in the beginning, right?
Yeah, we did talk about the why. When they're initially interested in it, and then in the beginning of the second conversation that we had. So it's like when you start with the why. I guess another question is like, do I have to do that like each time, like through the whole process, or like if we start with why, is that enough?
Great question. Now, when did you start with the why? Like, when did you have that why conversation or uncover her why? Like, how many days ago? Was that a week ago? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I guess about a week ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, your question is if a week ago we talked about the why and that's what got her interested in building a business, do we have to like keep talking about the why every time I talk to her as I'm coaching her through her building her business? Or is that, or did we cover it and it's good to go? Basically, right?
Right, that's the biggest part of it, but also like let's just say, um, like you and I are talking, and then you're like the business builder, and I'm working with you. Beginning of the conversation, we talk about it. Then do I have to do it like throughout the conversation as well?
Oh, so like if you have a 60-minute call, do you just talk about the why in the beginning um, and then the next like 45 minutes or 50 minutes you're talking about other stuff?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it. That's a fantastic question. Um, and the answer really is like when I coach people, I share with them as much as I possibly can. I'm sharing reasons. Like I'm learning when you coach, you want to surround your your like steps with stories that help them to connect with the payoff, their why, the reasons why they want to do it. So like I gave an example of how when I was coaching, when I was working with some health coaches, Shintoya and Alpha Stewart, and I was like, look, don't use Stripe, because Stripe is going to shut you down when you're taking high ticket payments, when you're taking like $5,000, $10,000 payments. Like, don't use Stripe, because Stripe is not designed for high ticket items. And what they're going to do is, like, I'm showing you how to craft a signature speech and how you're going to, from your events, you're going to get like 10 people to sign up at $5,000, it's $50,000 in one speech. So when you're making, like for me, like I had my first $40,000 day doing the same things I was teaching them how to do. And so when you make $50,000 or let's say $100,000 in a day, then Stripe has been notorious for freezing your assets and preventing people from actually accessing that. And it's a huge just financial risk for your business. So instead, I recommend that you take $2,000 on Stripe, never more than $2,000 on a credit card through Stripe, and then the rest of your high ticket is going to be like have a wire transfer. That way you don't have the fiasco. So when I did that, I actually surrounded my step with their why. Because what is their goal? Number one, they want high ticket health clients. Number two, they want to make big money with a small audience. And then three, like they want to learn how to create wealth faster. So selling from stage, selling from their speeches that they're already giving, but learning how to give profitable presentations. And four, I'm showing them by working together, the process I'm showing you. Not only did I share the story of how I had my first $40,000 day through the same principles I'm teaching, so that's building belief in the principles or the process that I'm teaching, but I also shared a hypothetical story of, I didn't say if, I said when you are giving a presentation and 10 coaching clients want to sign up at $5,000 each, that's $50,000 in a day from the back end of one speech. So now I'm actually casting a vision for them, and I'm speaking like as an already accomplished fact. It's a hypothetical story, but it's very much in the realm of possibility because this is the system that we're showing them. So even in that story, I'm stacking reasons. It's called reason stacking. I'm never just like coaching. I'm never just like speaking. I'm always selling. I'm selling them on why they would want to follow the advice. Because like stop taking big payments on Stripe. That's a process. That's a step. Take the wire transfer, that's some technicality. It's a learning curve. They're gonna have to learn how to do something different. So that's like still it's steps and it's a process, but if I focus only on that, because I found out their why when they joined the program, or we talked about their wins at the beginning of the coaching call, which we like to do, then it wouldn't have the same effect, and that could be overwhelming. And then when we feel that the pain of the process is greater than the pleasure of the payoff, then people are going to say no every time. And that no shows up in like they might desire to build a business, but their actions, their decisions of like they're not building their business, they're not showing up to the coaching calls, they're not like getting on the sales calls, they're not promoting their program or doing their sales presentations or speaking to audience, creating content, whatever it is, the process. When they prioritize something different, in essence, they're saying no. But it's good that she still desires to build a business. But at the end of the day, we want to learn how to collect decisions, because decisions build your bank account, desires don't. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so like what you were saying about like you're not just communicating, you're always selling. And so if you have their reasons, then you're using those reasons. Well, I'm sure there's like other examples of people who've done it like successfully that you can use. But do you mainly want to use like whatever their reason that they've shared as the selling points? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. So, like let's say someone, like for this situation, the person you're helping to build a business. Her husband has a medical condition, makes it difficult for him to hold down a job, so she's looking for a financial income she could do from home and have an online business. So like that's part of her objective. And so when you're talking about building a business or like making a list of who you can invite to the sales presentation, then like as you're talking about who you're inviting, or as people purchase the program at the end of the webinar, then just know it's like this is so that you can start creating that passive income that you could do from home. This is where, like, as you invite people to the webinar, that's so you don't have to continue to trade time for money, or so you don't have to be tied down to a business, or I mean to like working at a job that your husband's medical condition isn't compatible. But this is something that you can do in between, that's regardless of the condition. You're able to, like, as you invite people to the webinar, that helps you to have that solid, consistent streams of income to cover your living expenses, just like through that activity. So you like continue to connect those dots as you express it. You're not just saying invite people to a webinar and make money. You're talking about what that money will do for them. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
So I think of it like there's a first order consequences and there's second and third order consequences, or other ways you could call it like benefit extensions, where, well, the first order consequence is like, okay, you invite guests to the webinar, people buy the program, and you get paid. You get paid for people buying your health program, and that's good. But like, money is nice, but like, I don't think that people are truly motivated by money. Money is just paper, just digits on a screen. It's not about the money, it's about what the money can do for them. Money gives you options. Money gives you choices. It gives you freedom. It gives you opportunities. So that's the choice, and not just like I say choices, but like when I'm talking to you, and I'm going to be talking about like what will help you to be more profitable is it'll give you more money so you can. Here's the second order consequence. So you can invest in the medical tests to improve your health. So you can invest more in better quality supplements or better quality health solutions to help you to like discover any challenges and pay for the solutions and get the medical advice, like the naturopathic medical advice that common insurance plans don't cover. So like as I express that to you, the more that I share that, it makes your process so much easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So another way that you can, or are there other questions you have?
I was thinking of a question. It might kind of like deviate, or you might have already answered it. But like if they say, like, okay, they have objections and different things to overcome, but they are still desiring to move forward. But then they are saying that, like for example, I was talking with someone and then they said that it's they want to do it at like a later date or something. Like I know that sounds like, okay, a few more days shouldn't hurt, but then could that also be like a dangerous thing, or like an objection to overcome?
Well,
or
yeah.
Is that okay to just
No, I mean that's.
More days?
I do it later. Tomorrow is definitely an objection, and like this is a difference between selling and closing, and like marketing, like knowing the difference between marketing, sales, and closing. Those are three separate things. Where marketing is getting your message to the masses. It's like finding the leads, coming in contact with people who already want to buy what you have to offer. So that's marketing. So they know you exist. Selling is telling the stories, making the associations, creating the buying emotion so that they want to say yes. Now they have a desire to say yes to your offer, your opportunity that you have for people. And but just because someone may be sold, meaning they have the beliefs to buy, they have the desire to buy, they have the interest to buy, what helps them, like closing, is giving them a reason to act now. Because, like, as we talked about, desires don't build your bank account and it doesn't transform their life. It's decisions. It's in the moment of decision that your destiny and their destiny is decided. So, closing is actually helping them to make the decision, giving them reasons to act now, which is usually done through urgency or scarcity, showing that maybe the price is going to go up after this date, or there's an opportunity now to and this is, there's a bell. Okay, so then the opportunity is right now for you to maybe make more money. There's a campaign, there's a promotion, or there's a discount. Here's a coupon that will expire, or that you'll be able to, like, in this window you'll make more money, or in this window you have like a campaign that if you share the health programs with like 5 people, then you're gonna get extra like coaching from me, that I'll do a special training for you if you qualify to sell 5 programs in the next 5 days or 7 days or something. So you give them a reason to take action and prioritize it. And that's the skill of closing, which Go Pro by Eric Worre has a chapter on closing, which is really, really effective. And I would listen to that. And he teaches you how to give them the reasons to act now.
Mm-hmm.
And which overcomes the objection, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week, I'll do it on Friday, I'll do it like whenever, because tomorrow never comes. What we do is we start procrastinating our dreams, our future, for a more convenient season. I'll call for you. It's inconvenient right now. It doesn't mean that they're incapable of doing it. It's that, like, we haven't given them enough reasons to justify prioritizing the decision now. So we are putting it off later, and then later just becomes later again, and tomorrow, and then it becomes someday, and then someday. Like, most people have goals to accomplish someday. But, yeah, so does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. So, can I share with you a way that you can find out their, like, financial goals and help people to make more, get more clear on what their objective is?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So, this is what I do. This is where you're going to set your financial goals. What I'll do is I'm going to show you my screen, and hopefully you can see. Yeah, you can see my screen. Great. So, so basically, one thing you want to do is set their financial goals. You can discover what are their interests in. I just did this with someone I was consulting who's starting his health business, and first of all, it's really good. I like to help people to identify, like, what is your financial independence number. You could, like, if you're taking notes, you can write that down. Your financial independence number. So what that is basically your living expenses. If you added up all your monthly living expenses, what would it take for you to reach financial independence? If this is your goal, if your goal is financial independence, what would it take for you to reach that number? You're looking for the financial independence number. So, like, I'll do this with you. For your living expenses, how much would it, like, and what's really powerful about this is people will find it's shockingly lower than they would expect to be able to reach financial independence, for their living expenses to be covered. So, like, for you, every month, how much would you say you would have to make in order to reach your financial independence? And this would include, like, phone bills. This would be, like, grocery bills. This could be if you have any, like, insurance payments. Some people are paying for, like gas if they have a car, so it's like gas and insurance. Or just think about how much a month do you think would require for you based on your current lifestyle. This isn't your ideal lifestyle. This isn't like what you would dream or desire, but, like, how much a month would you need to make in order for you to really have that set up for you.
And the part of the ideal lifestyle was, like, health goals, so that doesn't count, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah. I would say like current expenses.
Okay.
Because really, we're talking about replacing your current income, or replacing your current living expenses, basically. Even if you.
I'm gonna go with $1,000.
Yeah.
$1,000.
Okay, cool. So that's good. So if you have $1,000 and any amount that they have, like sometimes, like last time I walked someone through it, and I was like, okay, sometimes we might want to help them think about it, like what is your, like maybe a car payment, insurance payment, like phone bill, how much you spend a month on groceries, about. You want to look for like a price. Like if you're doing this with you're sharing this with your business builder that you're coaching, you want to talk about what are their expenses. Maybe if they got a baby, how much are diapers a month, or like, kind of stuff like that. So your financial independence number is $1,000 a month. That's totally doable. Like you can completely do that in Isagenix. Would you like to see how?
Yeah, that does sound doable.
All right. So then now what I want to do is I'll show you this. Basically, I'm gonna show you the money. You know the money math. People are like, show me the money. Here's the money math. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
So this is you got $1,000 a month. Now what we want to do is we want to divide that $1,000 by 54, because a cycle is $54, right?
Okay.
Hopefully you can see my screen. Okay, so we got 1,000 divided by 54, and that's 18 cycles, 18.5. So we're gonna say 19 cycles. 19 cycles a month is what it would require for you to reach financial independence.
Okay.
So we're gonna write that down. So I want you to write it down so that you have that. 19 cycles a month. However, how many cycles? We don't get paid monthly. We get paid every Monday, which is nice. And whenever I talk about getting paid on Monday, I love sharing this story. This is again part of like the way that you share, not just the steps. I'm not just giving you math. I'm making math relatable, and I'm making math fun. I'm tying math to your why, right? And this is how I do it. So when I say like we don't get paid monthly, we get paid weekly, every Monday. In fact, we call this. It's like Money Monday. You get your weekly dose of vitamin M, and that usually gets a little chuckle. People are like, oh, I like that. It's cute or fun. And then I'll say, well, while most people dread Mondays, are like, oh, now I got to go back to work. Mm-hmm. We are excited about Monday. We're like, yeah, Monday is the payday. Let's go. And then and you say it with enthusiasm. And then people are like, wow, and they see the contrast between where they are, where they have been, where they know most of the world is, and then where they could get to be with you pursuing this path. Does that make sense? Yeah. That's an example of surrounding your steps and stories. That it seems like fluff, or it might feel like it's something that is unnecessary, or just like it's like show me the money, where it's like they're like, you're not showing me the money, you're telling me the story, right? But it's so important. I'm never just speaking steps, I'm always selling. I'm never just speaking, I'm always selling. So we share the stories. Facts tell, stories sell. Do you have any questions about that so far?
No, that makes sense.
I pretty much say whenever I talk about getting paid on Monday, you're gonna hear every time I say that we're getting paid on Monday, I'm like, most people dread going to work on Monday, but we get excited. Either a weekly dose of vitamin M is helpful. And you're like money isn't everything, but it's right up there with oxygen. You need it to survive, right? So you just slip in these little phrases that makes people say, huh, that makes sense. Because that was a selling statement. Because people are like, oh, I don't care about the money, I just want to help people. It's like if you don't care about the money, really, you're not doing this for the money. If you're willing to lie to me about that, then I'm sure you'd be willing to lie to me about other things. Because I get what, like, for me, it's like, yeah, I care about the money, and you wouldn't be here, we wouldn't be having this conversation if you weren't interested in money. But I mean, I don't care most about the money. That's not my number one factor, but it is a major contributing factor. So even just by me deviating from that, it might feel like a tangent, might feel like a rant, but I'm overcoming their objection that I know people have. Most people have, who are like, broke people are broke because they have broke beliefs about money. And it's like the financial law of faith says that your bank account is a direct reflection of your beliefs about money. So if you know that they're not in the financial, what was that?
I said, yeah, that is interesting.
What part of it's interesting?
No, just how the principle of your bank account reflecting your beliefs about money, just you can see it, I guess, is why it's interesting, like the results of that.
Absolutely. You're totally right. And because you know, like they're coming to you with a financial goal, that means they're not in a financial situation that is ideal, or they're not where they'd like to be yet. So you can take that time when you're showing them the money, you're doing the money math, and you're helping them set their financial goals, get a clear financial vision. That's what we're doing. Clear, absolute clarity. Decide exactly what you want financially. That's what we're figuring out. No uncertain terms. $1,000 a month, 19 cycles a month. We're going to find out how much that is a week by dividing by 4, but it's okay to take a moment to, like, it feels like a rant, it feels like a tangent, but it's actually adding more value to them by talking about, like, it's not about the money. Yeah, it is about, if you're willing to lie to me about that, you'd be willing to lie to me about other things. And what's cool is you don't say that once they say it's not about the money. You say that before they express it's not about the money. Because if someone's like, well, it's not about the money, I'm like, if you're willing to lie to me about that, you'd lie to me about other things. That sounds offensive. That sounds abrasive, right? It's like, what did you just call me? You called me a liar? So you got to say it before. And Katharina, remember when we talked about how you can share objections that you know that people have before they express it? Even if you heard...
Yeah, like in the presentation?
Yes, in the presentation. Even in conversation, though. Because right now we're talking about you're going through this process on a call. So...
yeah, I remember.
Yeah, because someone might have been concerned that other people had their doubts and they shared it, and then... And like, how do we address the objection that other people's doubts when the person I'm talking to didn't express that to me? If you have an educated guest, they don't have to say anything. Literally, like, I volunteered that it's not about the money. I didn't wait for them to say it's not about the money. I just said it while I'm talking about getting paid on Monday. And with my enthusiasm, like, it's Monday, Money Monday, it's payday. And I said it with such enthusiasm, which then in my mind, I thought about the person I'm talking to. I'm like, hey, well, maybe they would feel uncomfortable being so excited about money. So that was my trigger to share it. Some people say it's not about the money. And then I went into that, like, what I call a content link, like just that little segment, that signature story, that expression to overcome that objection. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Does that also connect?
It's kind of like a little rant, like on the side. Like they're connected, but like one thing it reminds me, and then you just like share this thing that'll like overcome their objection, like kind of like just on the side, and then you just continue the conversation. So that it'll still plant seeds and plant visions in their mind.
100%. You got it. Oh, I didn't switch the camera. But you're absolutely right. You turn your rants to revenue, and you just have these little mini rants as you're going through your steps. So you're selling these steps. So next step, this is how you get the vision. And I want you to see, like, you really want to plant these little seeds because you're a gardener. You're not a hunter. It's like the hunter and the hunted. You're over there. Like, you're planting seeds, you're cultivating seeds, you're pulling weeds and replacing with seeds, and you're seeing them to fruition. So the next step, what you want to do is, so you divide $1,000 by 54, and you get 19 cycles. 19 cycles, and then what you want to do is, like, think your financial independent number, FIN, it's 2. You want to identify, like, write down for them where they can see it. Your financial independence number in dollars is $1,000 a month. That's the living expenses. Your financial independence number in cycles, which is $54, a cycle is $54, is 19 cycles a month. 19 cycles is your financial independence. Congratulations. Now, how many times is that a month? I mean, a week, because we get paid weekly. You just divide that by 4. 4 weeks in a month. Some months have 5, but it's okay. Is it okay if someone is expecting like 4 weeks, or they budget for 4, but they get paid extra some months? Is that okay to get paid a little extra?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
that.
it's like I'll take a piece of that. Yeah, sign me up for 2. So you divide it by 4, and then what we got here? Calculate. So we're gonna 19 divided by 4. It's about 475. So I'd say 5 cycles. 5. I would just round up to the nearest like whole number. So 475. You can't get like 70, like 3/4 of a cycle. So it's just 5 cycles. So if you identify. So Shanicia, what is your financial independence number in cycles a week, according to that math?
So you said divide the number of cycles by 4.
I'll put it back on the screen. I already did the math for you.
Oh. So that's 4.75?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can't
I don't
get.
know if it's me, but it's just kind of blurry.
Oh well, it's probably just you. You can't just get a 0.75. So like that's
5.
so 5 cycles a week is your financial independence number in cycles.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So your goal is now 5 cycles a week. Now when you talk to people about inviting individuals to a webinar, driving traffic, getting signups, registering, promoting events that are selling, you're like, look, your goal is just get 5 cycles. And you're not talking, and you remember 5 cycles equals your financial independence. That would literally replace your living expenses. Does that sound more doable than like this whole process and everything that's taken place?
Yeah, that does sound doable. So at this point, then they would already have education of what cycles are.
No.
All that.
Nope. No, this could be an introduction. They don't even need to know how a cycle works. They just have to know, like for me, and this is what I tell them too, when people are like, how do I get, like, it depends on how developed they are, how new they are. I don't go into the nitty gritties of how do you cycle. Just saying 54, you get 5 cycles a week, and that's, you cycle when people buy products. That's really all they need to know. You sell products, and then you cycle. And that's it. And then, like, the person who shared, who got me started and taught me, I was like, well, how does all the nitty gritty works? And he's like, you don't need to know how all of it works in order to get paid. You catch that? You don't need to know how cycles work in order for you to get paid. And I was like,
that's very relieving.
Yeah, it is. I was like, that makes sense. And what do they ultimately want? You want to get paid and get your people paid. They want to get paid, so if they can get their goal without knowing that, as a coach, you get to let them know, focus on them, major in major things, don't major in minor things. How a cycle works is minor. You don't need to know that right now. Just know a cycle is $54. And you cycle when people buy products. Go ahead, you got a question, Katharina?
Yeah, I do have a question. So like if someone if they're just starting out and we're thinking about their financial independence number, do you think it's like a greater gap than if we just like which they're like, okay, let's replace one bill that you have? Or like you know that process of like, let's do one bill at a time. So what is one bill that you want to get rid of? Like, is that like okay, because in my mind I'm like, maybe that sounds like a really big step for me. Like if I think of what what I want to do and then like that goal to get there. I'm just like curious as to like what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I love the question. And I would say absolutely. Like it really depends on the person, their level of ambition, their level of dedication, and how like exposed they are, committed they are to the process. Ideally, you would want to help them to see their financial possibilities earlier on in the stage, but sometimes they're going to be weeks or months in, and before you have this conversation, or before they watch a video showing how to do it. But to answer your question, yeah, I would always start them with what is your financial independence number, figure that out, and once you have that financial independence number, I like to think of it as stepping stones. So they have a longer term dream, an ideal lifestyle that's further out, and we definitely want to show them that it's possible and give stories of people who've done it, but we want to identify, like, bring it down to earth. More immediate is your financial independence. And then, like you mentioned, once you identify financial independence, let's say, in order to get there, let's break that down and let's just look at a bill. Out of the bills we just listed and the prices they have, which of those would you like to work on replacing first? And for many people, it's getting the products paid for. So we're going to get your products paid for first, and then let's move on to what's the next bill that you want to replace. And we can start working on your car payment or your house payment. I know, like Kathy, she learned how to get her products paid for, and then she learned that she can start getting her house payments paid for. They owed back taxes on the property, and they were able to use the exact same steps, the same process to get the products paid for. They were able to pay off their back taxes without losing their home. And so Isagenix literally saved their property. And that is so then you focus on that, and if you break it down, let's say that the phone bill is $50 a week. I mean $50 a month. That's one cycle a month. One cycle, $54.
That sounds totally doable.
Like, is that doable? How would you like to replace your phone bill?
Oh, yeah.
Get free phone coverage.
Yeah, just a phone bill. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is like start with the overall and then back down into like smaller.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And overall, as in not just overall, financial independence number.
Independence.
Financial independence number, the full thing. Because you have the number in dollars and the number in cycles. Figure that out. That's the foundation of all the dreams. And then break it down. Because, like, these smaller steps, like, who cares about getting a phone bill? If you start with replacing your phone bill or even your car payment, it's going to be like, I mean, like, it can be helpful, but it's not as motivating as realizing, oh, that's actually a stepping stone towards what is possible. Does that make sense? That's why I start with the financial independence number, and then
I just wanted to because my thing is like when I look at like my goal of like for financial independence, and then like it seems like there's a big gap.
There is a bigger gap.
That still sounds like
there is.
So then,
and that's good. You need a big vision.
Then, like when
bigger the
say it one bill at a time, then.
The bigger the dream, the bigger the decisions, the bigger the priorities that people will take in order to take action towards their goals. The bigger the mission, the bigger the motivation to make that money to move the mission forward. So it's okay for it to be further. But what's powerful, it feels overwhelming when you don't know the plan. You don't feel like you have a process. It seems like there's a big gap between where you are and where that is. But what you're doing is you're showing the difference is you're not showing them the financial independence number without a roadmap to get there. You're showing the actual vehicle to get there, and you're not saying that's not your first step. Your first step is this bill. And it's not overwhelming when they have a plan and a map and a framework to follow. That's when it's motivating to just be like, wow, I could do this, I could do that, but you don't want that to be so isolated to just a phone bill that's like detached from a bigger vision of what's possible.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, and then the same thing too with the E for Free Club. You talk about the E for Free Club, and the next step from there, like E for Free, get your products paid for, is a step from getting your living expenses paid for. So like you still like dangle a carrot, you still plant seeds, you still like hint at or drop towards it. Like, yeah, not only can you get your products paid for, but some people see that they want to get their house payment paid for, and they just start replacing one bill at a time on the same steps. It works. But we're going to focus on getting your products paid for. But then they're like, whoa, that's an option? I didn't know that was an option. And then that's how they open up to desiring more and believing more and doing and achieving more. So is that helpful?
Yeah.
Cool. So Shanicia, the last thing that I would say for this process to help like tie it all together, and I like to just put this as like a capstone, it was really big breakthrough for me, is you share with them like now they know how many cycles they need a week for their financial independence. We could also see how many cycles they need a month to replace one bill, which was like one cycle a month. Now your whole phone bill is covered. That's cool. So never pay like you don't have to pay for you worry about your phone bill again. You don't have to work like whatever bill is stressing them out the most, and just like you never have to worry about gas again. How much you spend on gas a month, and price that together. Say it's $300 a month. You're like, oh, how would you like to never worry about that again? 300 cycles is like 300 divided by 50 is I believe that's 6 cycles. So 6 cycles a month would cover their gas, and they don't have to. They never have to worry about paying gas again. So which is really cool. So then what you want to do is you want to teach them how to train their brain to calculate cost in cycles, not dollars. So when you're making any purchase or any financial goal that you feel that you can't afford yet, stop counting in dollars and start counting in cycles. And so what that looks like is what's a goal that you have? What's something you want to buy that's like over 200 or like between like $200 to $1,000?
Well, currently I have some health tests to run. They're run like 300, 200 each.
Okay,
like
so
3 different ones.
So then the gas example was probably not the best for you. That's what you might say with them, but for you, I would say like you got a $300 test and you want a $300 health test. So just think like one time, like instead of thinking, wow, that health test is $300, which can feel out of reach with people's current like income or their current like model of how they're getting paid, trading time for money. Like employees feel like everything is too expensive because it feels like whenever they're buying something, they're paying out of their life because they're trading time for money. And in order to work 300 to make like pay $300, they're like, I have to work X amount of hours to calculate those $300, and it feels too expensive. Where what's cool with Isagenix and business builders, entrepreneurs think differently, or like this is where you're doing an identity frame. Employees think this way, entrepreneurs think this way, or health coaches, you might give like a more niche specific identity. Like health coaches view things differently because they're not paying out of their life, their time, they're paying out of their creativity because they just like they pay in cycles. When and there's no limit to how many cycles you make because the cycles you make cycles when you sell products. So by selling products, you just count how many products do I gotta sell to cycle to buy 300, which is we saw was 6 cycles would reach a $300 product. So in your mind, you're not like, oh, that health test costs $300. Now you train your brain to say that health test when you're talking to the doctor and they're like, they're saying, oh yeah, you take this test, it's $300, and you're like, how many cycles is that? That's 6. Okay, so I just got to get 6 cycles. Now it doesn't feel like it costs a lot because it's just a matter of how many people am I going to bless with my health products and programs in order to cycle 6 times. And by you teaching them to think in cycles, it's going to change the game. Now they become financially motivated. So they're at the grocery store and they're like, wow, I paid $200 for groceries on this. And I'm like, this is going to feed my family for a week if that's. This is like a few meals. And it's like, well, how many cycles is that? That's 4 cycles. Oh. It's like, well, I just do 4, I paid 4 cycles and that fed my family for a week. And now what you've done is you've tied the financial vision, goal, desire, like whatever they want to buy, to your vehicle, to the vehicle of their business. Now they have a means, a plan, a vehicle by which they can get to that financial destination that they want. And so that's a principle I would share multiple times until it really becomes a habit, and let them like learn to calculate the cost not in dollars but in cycles.
That makes sense.
So that's pretty much everything I have to share about it. When someone's feeling overwhelmed with the process, or they're feeling like, oh, that's a lot of work, like you said, a lot of times if there's too many steps in a short amount of time, and there's too many steps that are detached from the why and the vision. And if you haven't done this exercise yet, this is going to bring a massive clarity, because a confused mind is a what?
Paralyzed.
Yeah, confused mind is a paralyzed mind. I learned that from Jim Coover. And so if they're confused on how their business is going to build their dreams or the financial purchases they want, they're not going to take action. It's going to be discouraging. They're going to feel like everything is a lot of work because it's detached from the payoff and their why and their dream and the goal that they have. So as a coach, your job is to take them through this process. Get clear on show them the money math. Like, show me the money. And when they can see the money, they can make better decisions. Are there any like closing thoughts or questions or things you guys want to say?
Not from me. Just thank you for sharing it and breaking it down. I appreciate that.
Great. So like your assignment, what I would suggest for you is think of who do you know that you can share this exercise with? Who do you know that you can practice in math? Even if it's a friend, if it's a business builder, if it's a prospect or a team member, think of like, just by going through the process, learning how to express this and share it confidently, this is going to help you to build your business.
All right, sounds good.
All right, cool.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Very short. Would you go through this exercise on a phone call, like, or would you do this exercise on a can you do it over Messenger, text message?
Absolutely. You could do it like any way to communicate, you could do it. You could do it over Messenger, which I've never done, but you absolutely can. You can do it on a phone call. You can even do it on a video that you walk people through the process. And like I'm gonna create a video going through this, and then provide a worksheet to help people to answer it and find out the answers. And then so I could do it one-to-many in a group, and you could do it in a group call. You could do it over a phone call. All of it works. But when you're first getting started, yeah, Messenger, like do it one-on-one, because the 3 levels of mastery, like self-mastery, do it for yourself, which I've already done this with you. I've done it, and now I'm doing it with Shanicia. Self-mastery, you do it with yourself. Second is one-on-one mastery. Get good at doing it one-on-one with people, and as you do it several times, then you could do like one-to-many or groups or like video on it or something of that nature, and you'll get good like that. So, and you're gonna find those pros and cons of the phone and pros and cons to the messenger, but it's all gonna help. So that's a fantastic question.
Sounds good. Thanks for answering.
What was I would say for both of you, what was your biggest takeaway from this whole call, and what's one thing that you're gonna do differently as a result of what we covered today?
I think just what you were sharing about starting with their why, and then this exercise can help do that with like seeing what is their financial independence number, what is their, and then attach also um, that number to the reasons why they want to do it. Like for example, they want to get rid of like bills, or they want to have better health or something. Just finding that out and sharing with them, so that when you share with them, I don't think it'll matter how many steps there are, or even in what time frame that you share them. But once they have that in front of them, then they'll be willing and to go through whatever steps it takes to gain that freedom.
They're going to cross the desert, and they're going to swim through sharks. They're going to climb the mountains. They're going to go through whatever it takes to make that happen.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good.
I like what was shared in regards to how like their financial independence number, and then breaking it down like further. So like you see like a big goal, and then like the stepping stones to accomplish that goal. Like I think that was like a very big revelation for me to like see things differently. It's not either or, it's and also, and it's like it's a part of the process of getting there. And then I like what you just like how you're constantly selling people. You're constantly and basically how you're selling people is just sharing them the vision of what is possible. And that's how you constantly sell people. So I feel that's two things that I really want to do, and I want to start implementing it. I want to ask someone who's I'm helping to do that. Like that's the next thing that I'm going to be talking to them about.
Awesome. Nice. That's exciting. And for anyone who's watching, I'd love to hear what's the one aha that you got from this video, and one thing you're going to do differently as a result. And if you like the video, you want more videos like this, then subscribe to our channel and click the notification so that you can learn when more business strategies like this show up. And I look forward to posting in the future. Have a good day, friends. Remember, God doesn't call a qualified, He qualifies a called.